what happens for the people that are still in the mode of staying and they haven't chosen to leave yet? What happens when you confront a narcissist? What's going on in their mind? But also, is there a correct way to do it?
I have no idea why anybody would want to confront somebody with narcissistic personality disorder.
Mhm.
You're facing a machine that does what it does. It does it in many ways, probably 80% blindly. It's in a state of repetition compulsion. It's highly traumatized, and it's stuck on attack mode. We all have latent narcissism. We all have attack mode. This creature can't do anything else. So if you go, oh, let's go to therapy and be vulnerable and talk about how we really feel, you may as well be saying, let's just take up juggling chainsaws and speaking ancient Greek this afternoon, babe. They can't do it. So what do they have? They have attack, because all they're going to hear is, you're not as wonderful as you need to think you are in order to survive. And they experience this as a threat to their very survival. The core of their being is to maintain this image. They'll just attack you. So it's like saying, what's a good way of standing in front of a moving freight train? There really isn't one. You don't. I know why people ask this. They're being conscientious. They're like, I spent 15 years with John, and now this plonker with a weird accent from Britain is telling me I should just leave. No, I want to tell him. I want to talk to him. If it's NPD and you've done your research and you've developed the evidence to see that this really is NPD, you are absolved of the normal duties of dealing with another human being. You don't have to explain anything to them. You
Mhm.
are permitted to go in survival mode. Do say anything to get out as safely as you can. If you need to lie, then lie. If you need to manipulate, then manipulate. Get out, get away, create distance. It's a toxic substance, and your exposure to it is slowly destroying you.
I'm curious what your thoughts are on if somebody can show up with narcissistic traits to you, to your toxic relationship, but not show up for other people that way.
Yes, it's actually quite common. It's actually quite common. So um, there are people with very, very deep wounds. It's often related to, I know it's a trope, but it often really is related to childhood. An abusive mother, a distant father, or a father who abandoned the mother and the child, maybe.
Mhm.
And so these are primary attachments. This is how the entity that we are, that human beings are, learns how to attach and to love. And if that's damaged, then yeah, you could be looking at somebody who is fairly fairly functional at work, fairly functional with their friends. They go and play sport, and they have their sort of, there's a few bumps. There's usually interpersonal turbulence because they don't interpret human behavior very well, and they can respond in it. But generally speaking, they're okay. And then they're just a monster inside of the relationship.
Mhm.
Yes, that can happen for sure.
And do you think that could be because you trigger something within them? So it's not with every relationship, it's just this blending of two people, or it would always show up in every relationship
I
because a
think
relationship is so triggering?
something like that is happening. I should just say, if it's NPD, they're being NPD all the time,
Yeah,
but
right.
they're pulling it off. They're pulling off the front when they're not invested. But something about the investment in the relationship, as you just said correctly, is a trigger, and
Mhm.
then they're under threat, and then the narcissistic. What is it called? You have narcissistic injury and then narcissistic rage. So then they start to interact in a very bullying and exploitative way. They're always like that. It's just if you have maybe somebody who's kind of a pro-social or nice guy, nice girl narcissist, nobody else will see it. Only their partners will see it.